government shutdown approaches, James Comey indicted, Starbucks closing stores, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. The Trump administration said this week that federal workers should be dismissed en masse if the government runs out of cash and shuts down next week. The shutdown is increasingly likely as congressional Republicans and Democrats appear miles apart on a spending bill that they'd have to pass to keep the government open past an October 1st deadline. In previous shutdowns, many federal employees were furloughed but returned to work with back pay once lawmakers agreed on a funding plan. But this time, the Office of Management and Budget raised the stakes by directing agencies to prepare permanent layoffs in programs that don't have alternative funding sources and aren't consistent with the president's priorities. Former FBI Director James Comey could face multiple years in prison if he's convicted on 2 charges of making a false statement and obstruction of justice, according to a Department of Justice press release. Comey was indicted by a federal grand jury Thursday. The charges stem from comments he made to the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee in testimony on September 30th, 2020, during which he is accused of lying. The indictment alleges that Comey knowingly made a false statement to a senator when he testified that he had not authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports regarding an FBI investigation into the potential collusion between Russia and Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. It also alleges that Comey impeded the investigation by making the false statement. The Mueller report later cleared the Trump campaign of all accusations. President Trump on Thursday signed an executive order that allows TikTok's U.S. operations to be moved away from the social media app's China-based owner ByteDance. The deal will see TikTok's U.S. operations separated from ByteDance to comply with a law that bans social media platforms subject to control by adversarial foreign governments like China. Trump said that he has great respect for President Xi and added that he very much appreciated that he approved the deal. The president said that the administration will also be announcing more details shortly. President Trump announced plans to impose a 100% tariff on prescription drugs. This steep new import tax will be imposed as of October 1st on any branded or patented pharmaceutical product unless a company is building their pharmaceutical manufacturing plant in America, the president posted on Truth Social yesterday. The tariffs would not apply to imports from companies that have either broken ground on new plants in the U.S. or have them under construction, the Post said. Trump also said he'd impose other new tariffs on October 1st, including 50% on kitchen cabinets and bathroom vanities, 30% on upholstered furniture, and 25% on heavy trucks. Starbucks CEO Brian Niccol announced Thursday that the coffee giant will close underperforming stores in the U.S., cut 909 retail partner roles, and freeze many open positions as part of its ongoing turnaround strategy. Niccol said in a letter to employees that during a review of Starbucks North America coffee house portfolio, the company identified locations that were unable to create the physical environment our customers and partners expect, or where it does not see a path to financial performance. The company opens and closes coffee houses every year for various reasons, including financial performance and lease expirations. But Niccol said that this is a more significant action that will impact a larger swath of employees and customers. Amazon has agreed to pay $2.5 billion to settle a lawsuit from the Federal Trade Commission accusing the tech giant of duping consumers into signing up for Prime subscriptions, which some users were allegedly impeded from canceling. The lawsuit, filed under the Biden administration in 2023 in the opening salvo against Amazon's retail dominance, alleged the company adopted a coercive user interface to trick users into enrolling in automatically renewing memberships. It involved claims that some people intended to sign up solely for Prime Video, a lower-cost option. Initial claims for unemployment insurance were well below expectations last week, helping to douse caution at the Federal Reserve and elsewhere that the labor market is in danger. First-time filings for the week ended September 20th totaled a seasonally adjusted 218,000, down 14,000 from the prior week's upwardly revised figure and significantly less than the Dow Jones consensus estimate for 235,000, according to the Labor Department report on Thursday. Continuing claims, which run a week behind, were little changed, falling 2,000 to 1.926 million. The release comes just a week after the Federal Reserve voted to lower its benchmark borrowing rate by a quarter percentage point to a range of 4% to 4.25%. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.